Gerbrandt Smit is from NEF here, and he joins us now as well. And we get to unpack this picture. Are you a bit surprised then, Gerbrandt, the rand back below 16 rand, seemingly brushing off all the bad news we've had here locally, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it's been a difficult time. The rand's been oversold for quite some time, so I think it briefly touched around 20 rand to the dollar a few months back when we had the whole sell-off. We're clawing back slowly a bit of lost ground, so the real value should probably be somewhere between 15 and 16 rand to the dollar at the moment. And then on the other side, you also have the dollar that should probably start weakening somewhere, because nobody can just keep on printing money forever and have a stronger currency forever. So yeah, I think it's two-folded. And that's why you see some of these commodities also rallying a bit, because of a weakening dollar long-term wise. Most people are hinting towards that for the first time in many.
Yeah, when you speak of that, those commodities ticking high as well, then that oil price now at $42 a barrel. Of course, we had seen it go even much weaker in recent times. But is this the beginning of that resurgence now? Are we finally going to perhaps see it tick a lot higher?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to take time, and it all depends on how long it takes countries to open up and flights to reschedule and so forth, and trade to research. But I think long-term wise, you probably should be still bullish on oil from where it's now. But nobody can predict the short-term, Arabile. There's lots of supply been taken out of the system. A few of the shale gas guys has probably gone belly up. Some of them already done so. So normally it takes about a year. I think this correction was much sharper and quicker than normally. And hopefully we passed most of the worst in the oil market.
But then the question, I suppose, would become, if Sasol has passed the worst, maybe, they've now decided to sell their little program and project as well, then out in Nigeria. Is the tide turning for Sasol? Are things going to get better from here on in?
Yeah, look, the stock market certainly thinks so. At one stage, it was priced for bankruptcy at 25 rand a share. It's almost four-folded up. It's 130 rand something a share. It's almost doubled over the last month. So lots of better news priced into the share price already. But they still sit with a lot of debt, and they spend it on that big project in Louisiana in the States. So if they can't get more than $4 billion of assets sold at decent prices, they're probably still going to do a rights issue, and then you'll probably see the share price pulling back again. And maybe then it's a bit of time to delve in. But I think worst is over. I don't think we'll see 25 rand a share again. But yeah, it's probably a bit on the heavy side where it's priced now at the moment.
Yeah, overall the market has seemingly also recovered quite well. 22% up for the second quarter, for the second quarter. Then, when it comes to the JSE All Share in particular, are share prices going back to being a little bit more pricey, or are there still opportunities in this market?
Yeah, look, I think we're still sitting with this a bit of the same that we had over the last 2 years. So you've got technology stocks, which is Naspers locally, which is probably, you combine process with that, which is about 30% of market, which has been flying. It's up, I think, 50% for the year. From year to date, it's probably 40% up. But then you sit with the other stocks. You sit with bank stocks, which is still down 40-50% from its highs. All the SA Inc. stocks is still down 50-60%. So I think there's a tale of two halves, and it's not just South Africa, it's globally. So you got the big tech companies long-term wise, which is throwing earnings at the moment, which is probably on the expensive side. And on the other side, you've got the cyclical and the more economic variables and low earnings per share going forward, which is at the very cheap side at the moment. So I think those are probably where you want to be over the next 3 years, but it's going to be volatile. The banks are going to be volatile, but there's certainly lots of upside in the SA Inc. stocks going forward.
The resource stocks, though, I mean, you saw the likes of Goldfields, even Anglo Gold Ashanti, even though it's leaving South Africa, that picked up as well in that second quarter. It feels as though even right now the gold index is hitting a little bit higher. Does that mean that there's perhaps a resurgence in the resource shares, or is it perhaps a little bit of a puff and smoke there and is bound to go down sooner rather than later?
Yeah, look, I think the right time to have bought some of these resource stocks were probably in the beginning of 2016 and 2015, when nobody wanted to own them. You could pick up some of the diversified miners like Anglo for 50 Rand a share. It's trading at 400 Rand a share at the moment. And some of the gold stocks has also rallied quite aggressively over the last 2 to 3 years. I think the theme is still in place. The guys will have decent earnings. It's not so much dependent on COVID, and most economies are probably going to have some sort of construction-led or spending-led recovery from their part. So they should be okay and so forth. But I think the easy money has probably been made over the last 3 years. But yeah, they'll probably be okay for the next year or so. But yeah, the 300 and 400% upside was done when you bought them 3 years back or 4 years back. At the moment, some of our other stocks are looking at those levels, and you never know what the future holds for them. But I think some of them will probably have lots of upside going forward.
Yeah. Gerbrandt, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it, man. All the best. We'll chat again hopefully very soon as well. Gerbrandt Smit there from NEFG giving us that look at the market picture, which currently sits in a lot of positive territory, including the South African Rand. Much better there. 16 Rand 89 against the US dollar as it sits then behind me as well. So that is a look at your market picture.